to come, H.G. Wells' classic vision of the future.
Stand by, control room.
Much of the film proved uncannily prophetic. This is Ray Bradbury, a man who's been writing about space travel and the future all his life.
For man, no rest and no ending. He must go on, conquest beyond conquest, out across immensity to the stars. And when he has conquered all the deeps of space and all the mysteries of time, still he will be beginning. All the universe or nothingness. Which shall it be, husband? Which shall it be?
This building housed the Titanic rockets that took us to the moon 10 years ago. And it's from here at Cape Canaveral that we'll look beyond those Apollo missions into the future of space travel. A future of constant challenge and infinite horizons. Cape Canaveral, 1979.
210, we have a liftoff. We have a liftoff. Now clear the tower.
This was Launch Pad 19. For a brief time in the mid-60s, manned Gemini rockets were launched from here almost every month.
You worried about the loads, Bill? Is that what we've seen all morning?
Stonehenge in England. Thousands of years ago, men feared darkness and desired the sun. These stones that they cut and set in circles may have tracked and measured the way of the sun in their sky.
Go. Go.
Cape Canaveral, thousands of years later.
Go and throttle up. Columbia, Houston, you're going throttle up.
Men built and abandoned these structures in order to put their own fires in the sky. Launchpad 34. It was here, at the very beginning of the Apollo missions, that 3 astronauts died, consumed in a swift fire that only serves to remind us once more that no man could be totally safe, and that no precaution could ever be too great when the frontiers of discovery were being crossed. But are these risks avoidable?
Virgil Grissom, Edward White, and Roger Chaffee never had a chance.
The last time Ray Bradbury visited Cape Canaveral was at the height of the space program, before many of the gantries and launch pads were abandoned to the elements.
Well, now what? Do we go on saying, is that all there is? No. The future of space travel is already being planned for the next 30 years.
America's Space Shuttle, the world's first reusable space vehicle. The shuttle's first launch is planned for the middle of 1980. And by the year 2000, a fleet of these shuttles will make space more accessible.
Your orbiters go.
Roger. Good show. Go orbit, booster snake.
This is the Space Telescope, an optical telescope much like the one at Palomar Mountain. In space, with no atmosphere to inhibit its view, it will be 7 times more powerful than Palomar. It is one of the first cargoes the shuttle will carry into orbit, 300 miles above the Earth. This platform will serve as home to men who'll build satellites too vast to be launched from Earth, a habitat and factory housing hundreds of space scientists, and this mining colony on the surface of the Moon or Mars. The shuttle, opening the door to all these possibilities, making life in space routine within the next 100 years.
In just a few years, we could be working with a new race of spiders, amazing mechanical spiders made by man to fashion webs beyond belief.
The machine sitting in the shuttle cargo bay is a $2 million beam builder. From 3 compact rolls of aluminum stripping, it assembles a triangular beam at 300 feet per hour. These beams will be the foundation on which space workers will build structures in orbit too large to be launched from the construction platform will be used to build a solar power satellite to catch the sun and convert it into the energy that we so desperately need on Earth. Energy that we can get from the powerhouse that is our nearest star, the sun. Once the solar satellite has been built, the construction platform will be used again for further building in space. In the meantime, rockets will boost the solar satellite into a fixed orbit 22,000 miles above Earth, where it will collect solar energy, transform it into a microwave beam, and send it down to Earth. With our present technological knowledge, a new generation of satellites could give everyone the chance to own and operate a personal communication system. How? Dick Tracy showed us how 40 years ago.
Okay, Chief. I'll get on it right away.
Dick Tracy calling hypocalorie. Calling hypocalorie.
Come in, Tracy.
And here it is, 40 years later, ready to give over 200 million people a chance to sound off. Just think of it. With a device like this, I can dial anyone, anywhere in the world. Jules Bergman.
Jules, this is Ray Bradbury
In Los Angeles. Would you take over, please, and try to explain a bit more
about these fabulous toys we've been playing with? All right, Ray.
Of course, these things are still toys, but someday wrist radios like this one could revolutionize personal communications. They'd be so inexpensive, some experts say as little as $10 a piece, that everyone could afford them. We'd have to launch a new generation of more powerful communication satellites to make them possible.
Communication and land satellites to electronic towers of Babel dominating tomorrow's skies, enabling a freer flow of information, presenting a challenge to those who wish to control it. What's free speech to one man may be fighting words to another. To invent high-flying voices in space may provoke others to reinvent silence. The joint Soviet-American mission in 1975 proved that international cooperation in space is possible. So perhaps the international conquest of space should be our next crusade. Or will our future conflicts be decided in this new battleground? Within 30 years, this permanent factory on the surface of the moon could burn and boil the lunar rocks to set free such materials as oxygen, aluminum, and iron ore. This artificial volcano could be staffed by 200 to 300 workers and used as a giant furnace, supplying raw materials to support life and work in space. But who will hold the deed and claim title to the craters of the moon? The United Nations is considering those questions now.
If the sun should die, we would all die with it. And so we would have to find another sun and another Earth. Right now on the moon, those first great footprints wait to be filled again and again, and we must fill them. Otherwise, time itself will wear those prints away. For Earth is only our birthplace after all. It needn't be our home forever.